today I decided, hey, let's make another video that no one once asked for or will see. I finished a book yesterday, and since I'm like trying to make videos consistently, well, that'll last like a week. Let's make a book review. Okay, so if you saw my last video, you probably didn't, because why would you? I said I don't really buy books anymore, and that this year I had only bought 4 books. Here's one of 4, and I read it and I'm gonna return it. Luckily I read it fast enough and it doesn't look like it's been read, so I'm gonna return it. Okay, so I finished it last night at like 2:30 a.m. and so I don't really know what I think. You might be wondering, Gabriella, if you don't know what you think, why are you making a book review? This is my third attempt at explaining what this book is about. So in this town, it's like this perfect town, always healthy, always enough food, whatever, no sickness. And this town is this way because a long time ago, a witch from the town made a bargain with the devil in the forest, saying that they'll send in the best boy every 7 years in exchange for continued happiness. Not happiness, but like, you know, things that I've never experienced. Just kidding, I've experienced health, let's move on. Well, this year, the sign that they need to sacrifice a boy again comes 3 years early, and everyone's like, the fuck? We're not ready yet. Is the bargain broken? I need to live long for whatever reason. Like, I'm personally here for a good time, not a long time, so I can't relate to them. And it follows 3 people: the witch, the descendant of the witch, she's from the Grace witch family, the boy who's next in line to be sacrificed, they call him the next saint, and then an outcast boy who's an outcast because up until he was like 6 or 7, his mom had raised him as a girl to protect him, and then he found out and his life changed, and there's queer representation, so that's great. Love that for the universe. Polyamory, I love that sounds weird. Okay. It really reminds me of, you know, in Parks and Rec when April is like to Leslie, oh, this is my boyfriend and this is my boyfriend's boyfriend. I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it more than like it's okay 3-star book, and it's not like, oh, I love it. I think if you like The Raven Boys or if you like Maggie Stiefvater's writing style, you'll really enjoy this, because the magic in this, it's undefined, and I think that adds to the charm of the story. But there's people who really, really, really hate it, and it's like, it's magic, let it roam. What does that mean? I don't know. It seems to me like the witch factor in this book is less Sabrina and Charmed witches. Did you guys see the reboot pilot? I did. What I know of seems more similar to like real world witchcraft, which is like, you know, making charms and herbal concoctions and anointing things. So that didn't bother me. I like that portrayal of it. It seemed more realistic, even though it's like a fantasy-esque book. One of the things in this book is that people trust magic more when it's very specific, there's straight lines to it, there's rules, and that plays a factor into this book. And I like the aspect of it, that as readers we also trust magic that it is more specific. We feel more comfortable reading it, and this book kind of we feel more comfortable in that world, and this book kind of plays on that, like how the characters in the story feel more comfortable when the magic is very plain and simple, written out. The thing that sold me on this book was, I'm gonna stop holding it because do I look like I've got strength? Clearly not. Oh, my crystal. One of the things that sold me on that book is that someone said it has a similar atmosphere and vibe to The Witch, which I love. Anya Taylor-Joy is my actual girlfriend. If you didn't know, now you know. If you like books about deals with the devil, you'll enjoy that, because the deal with the bargain is one of the biggest factors in the story. So if you're looking for something like that, there it is. You're welcome. Bye. Just kidding. And if you want to read something that's a little spooky, yes. Also, warning, there is a lot of body horror in that, and if you don't know what body horror is, who are you? Body horror is like kind of descriptive scenes of things happening to their body in a horrible way. So if you're really uncomfortable with that, you're not gonna like it. There's a lot of descriptions of things piercing and jutting, coming out of the body and like growing out. So I don't mind it. I kind of like picturing it, kind of didn't. You know, it's like that thing where it's like, ooh, but you want to see more. So why didn't I give this 5 stars? There were some times where Tessa Gratton, she has very descriptive writing. For this book, the negative reviews say, oh, it's so slow. And I think because she spends so much time dedicating words to the atmosphere and the descriptiveness of what's happening, that some people might find it slow. I mean, I don't know, I feel like I'm in the middle there. Sometimes I was like, okay, yeah, it's like super spooky and windy, it's a forest. And other times I was like, ooh, I love the way it's so vivid in my head. But, so I could really go either way, and that didn't bother me as much. Something that I was kind of like, about was, as much as I love the dynamics between the characters, of the three main characters, Merwin, the witch, the Run, the saint, or Ruin, who knows, and Arthur, the one who has a very conflicted gender identity. The only one that I actually like was curious about and wanted to know more about was Arthur, because he just felt so dynamic and he had so many things going on, and just he seemed the most fleshed out. Like Merwin, she's just like, oh, I'm a witch and I like weird things. Which, I will say, she had chemistry with everyone. Literally, every time she talked to someone, I was like, her character was nowhere near as interesting, I think, or fully formed as Arthur's. And then Run, the saint, I loved him. He's like what some would call a cinnamon roll, but it was just kind of that. I did like his somewhat shift as the book goes on, but a lot of his character is just like, oh, he just loves the town so much and he wants to give everything for the town and he's just so kind. Whereas Arthur was so much more flawed, and Arthur's inner turmoil about his gender identity within the town, and he has a lot of internalized homophobia and like, I guess transphobia would be the word, and it's really sad. Not sad, but it just made me be like, Arthur, no, you can be what you want. And so I really enjoyed that being discussed in a setting that wasn't just contemporary, because in YA, because I feel like a lot of issues like that, you don't tend to see them in, you know, fantasy. So I like that we've got some of this real grounded topics that works with like the, ooh, there's a devil, is he hot? We'll see. Well, something else that stopped me from giving the book 5 stars was one of like the main, what? I guessed. I thought it like halfway through, I was like, what if is, what? But then I was like, no, and I forgot about it, and then I kept reading, and as I got closer to a certain reveal, I was like, yup, I called it. But I didn't guess everything, so I wasn't like too ticked off. But yeah, I think the ending would have been more mind-blowing for me if that specific aspect of it hadn't been kind of clear to me. One thing she does, Tessa Gratton, as I also saw from reviews of Queens of Innocere, which is a book that I was interested in reading. I don't know if I still want to read or not, maybe so. She tends to work a lot in flashbacks, and that's something that's in this book. So if you hate it with a passion, I don't know why, who hurt you, but you might not enjoy that aspect of it. Like we're building up towards a certain event in this book. And then we get to it and we just skip over it, and then the rest of it is kind of in flashbacks, and that can be, I can see why that would be really irritating, because it's like, oh, the anticipation, and it's like, nope, it's over, here's like a little snippet. But I get why it was done in this book, and once you read it you'll kind of understand why, because it adds to like the way that the final act works. So it was a great Halloween book. You know, it's got witches, it's got a triad, polyamory, yes. It's got a deal with the devil, which we all know, we all have those. It's got a cool setting, so it checks all my boxes, but it's just not quite a 5-star book for me. I would still recommend it as a Halloween book, and if you liked any of the things I described, I'm gonna return it. Don't tell Barnes & Noble corporate, because I need my $20 back. I'm poor. I shouldn't say that, because I'm trying to do this affirmation thing where I'm like, I'm rich, but it's not working. It's still good, and just, I'm not gonna read it again. I'm so stingy with giving 5 stars now, but whatever. Yeah, it was what I wanted, but it didn't go beyond that, and a 5-star has to do that for me. How do I end this? I don't know why I'm worrying about ending this, like anyone's still watching. Life with Mac, who? And this is gonna be a nightmare to edit.